Well, hello there, Chick Chat. We're back with another Gypsy episode. This is episode 10, and we kick this right back off at the hospital. She's giving birth to Aurora.
On the same date, allegedly, supposedly, according to Gypsy, that she got out of prison the year before, married to a whole different man. And I mean, who could have thought?
Honestly, I'm kind of inclined to believe the day. I know that a lot of people aren't, but I am inclined to, just because either way, it's still a month early. I think if Gypsy was going to fake the date, she would have faked it in January, don't you?
Better date. I think so too. Some people think that it happened even in months earlier than this as well, but yeah, I'm also inclined.
Someone said in our comments October, but I do agree with the person who commented under that. I highly doubt that her baby was born in October. We saw a bunch of crap happen after October, after Halloween. She didn't have the baby. I don't know. I just think that she did have the baby in December, but it's still early. I mean, if she was going to fake a different day, she would have faked a day in January to make it more. I mean, doesn't that make sense to y'all?
The thing about conspiracy theories, I'm sorry, y'all, but the thing about conspiracy theories is sometimes they just don't make sense. They're trying to make sense of things that are unmake sensible. And some of the things that have happened in Gypsy's life are unmake sensible, irreconcilable. You can't go back. But this is not it. This is a birth. It happened on the day it happened. I know Gypsy lies sometimes.
It's going to be on a birth
all
certificate.
These people were conspired together to say that this is the day the baby was born. That's a month.
It's going to be on an actual birth certificate. I mean, if she's lying to us about the date, then she's lying to Aurora about the date, which gets into DD territory, and it's just a mess. Like, why start your life off with your daughter like that?
I know. I was thinking, like, honestly, the same exact thing. I just don't think that if that's what's no, I just know.
I don't think that, but I mean, I can delve into some conspiracy theories. I can almost give Ryan his little maybes. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but I don't think that this date would be December 28th if she was making up the date. I think she would have made up January 12th or somewhere in January where it wasn't as obvious that the baby was still early. So
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, she also didn't really have the opportunity to do that because she was spotted in the hospital as well. Which also I feel like lines up with the fact that this was probably, again, the actual date if she was also seen at the hospital. But, Gypsy lies about a lot of things. I'll give you all that. I also like to indulge in a conspiracy theory here and there, even one that I don't think is true. But I just think that she did have a baby on this day.
I just like to be a little realistic. I do like to
delve reality into our reality shows.
Because it's really a little easy to get lost in these Gypsy conspiracies. You can go crazy doing that, and only she knows, but we'll never know. I don't think the nurses, the people who did the birth certificate, all that is going to lie about the date as well. And then for Ken and Gypsy to then lie about this date to Aurora the rest of her life, I mean, that's pretty damn messy.
Manipulation, it's giving, I'm choosing something for you. And I think that that's very reminiscent. I really don't think that Gypsy is going to take that route. I think she's
not this early on,
a lot of mental problems, but I don't think she's going to have the mental problem that her mom had.
If she is going to start lying to her kid about whatever, I mean, she probably going to wait till the kid can at least comprehend what she's lying about. I hope. I don't think it would start right at birth.
For something like what happened, what's alleged to have happened according to Gypsy's story of her life, for something like that, I think it does sort of have to happen at birth. Just like Gypsy always says, she never knew any different. She never even thought for a pretty long time that her life was even abnormal.
True, but if she does put her kid through that after being put through that, I mean, put the girl back in jail.
Yes. And there's enough eyes on her and cameras on her that already are looking for any reason to call anybody on her. Yeah.
She's not a monster.
She could be for some reasons, but I don't think she's going to be a monster of a parent. I think she's going to be a wonderful mom. I mean, I'm not a future teller. I think everybody has complications in parenting, but I think as far as trying her best, I think she's going to try her best.
I don't know about wonderful because I don't know yet. I hope, but I don't know if any of us start out as wonderful. I think we all just try our best. So
that's what I mean. Wonderful, I mean, is like you're going to give your full effort.
People are going to come for us in the comments if we say Gypsy going to be a wonderful mother.
Whatever. Come for me. I am not here to defend Gypsy. I'm just not. I'm just here to see what I see as the reality. And I'm open to y'all's realities too. But this, I think, happened. I think this is reality, but who knows?
Who knows?
But look at it. He's so happy.
Yes.
It's cute.
Ken has met his love of his life in his daughter, and you can just tell he's very happy when he's holding her. He's willing to do things for her all the time. So I'm happy for Ken. He's just doing what he can as a new dad. You see the new dad all over him. He's really excited.
He's glowing. Yeah.
It's like Rod. When Rod gets there, it's like they're the same person.
Gypsy does let us know pretty early on in the episode, though, that Ryan will not be visiting the hospital while they're there. He will not be, doing the whole acknowledgement of paternity situation. So we found out that the baby is, in fact, an Anderson.
The baby's an Anderson.
Just like we thought.
Just like we thought, Aurora Anderson.
It's wild to me. And that man is on the birth certificate. That man.
Ryan Anderson.
Ryan Anderson. According to the state of Louisiana law, this is Ryan's baby.
He's like, it might be my baby.
I know. He said it might be an Anderson forever. I just love this for Ryan. I don't. But I do, because, I just feel like he loves to see it.
He loves it. I'm sure there's a copy of this on his fridge.
He wants a problem to solve for Gypsy, and he done win.
But he doesn't want to solve it because then she'll wash her hands of him. So
honestly, it's so weird. We even see this is going to continue on, obviously, into the next episode, which we're praying is the last episode. But who knows at this point? It didn't say finale. I'm hoping. I'm thinking it's the last one. But this is going to continue on, this drama here. So we shall see. We got ultimatums coming and all kinds of things.
And Gypsy and Ken are on their way back. It looks like they stay at the hospital for a couple of days. I don't know. They look comfortable there. Was it just me? I don't know how long you get at the hospital.
There's a lot of stuff in this bathroom if this was the hospital. This is a hospital bathroom. But when you go into labor, I feel like you bring more things than you would just when you're sick at the hospital. When you're an expected parent, you just want to have everything.
True. I know you pack a bag and everything ahead of time. Y'all let me know in the comments below. I'm sure a lot of you are moms or have had a child or whatever, even if you're dads. Let us know how long you stayed in the hospital, because I'm just curious on how long she was there. She was probably only there a day or two, because I know that they were celebrating New Year's with Rod and Christy.
Right. Well, and the baby was born pretty healthy. Didn't need to go to the NICU, which I know was a concern because this baby was born pretty darn early. So
depending on who you believe is the father, I guess.
Yeah, but the baby was born early. If it was born on December 28th, whatever. But maybe they were anticipating a longer stay because the baby was born early. Maybe they thought they'd be in the NICU for a while. But yeah, that does look like they done move right in.
But they moved right out too, and they get back over to Ken's house where Ken's mom is helping them with the baby. And she had the little Buc-ee's thing, which is a Texas gas station that's really popular. If y'all don't understand that reference, it's because they're from Texas. She got her first little Buc-ee's outfit. And Ken then gets the news that somebody did spot him at the hospital in the parking lot. So obviously they know that the baby has been born. He wants to get ahead of the story by posting it himself. And Gypsy's not really thrilled about that, even though she posted them damn paternity results without consulting him.
She posted paternity results. She took maternity photos all dialed up and all of the stuff she was posting all the time when she was pregnant. She did a whole show about her pregnancy that we are currently watching and talking about. And yet the switch up once she has this baby, I don't know if it's because it was early. I don't know if it's because of what it looks like. I don't know if she's just postpartum and can't get her feet underneath her and she's lost her mind. I have no idea. But the switch up that happened once she had this baby, she was like, I'm not going to gloat about having my baby. I'm sorry, but who doesn't gloat about having their first child? You just created a life, Gypsy.
You just went through hell to do it, right? Doesn't
yes, like if you've already dealt with all these things and you're not going to gloat now, there's something going on that you're not telling us.
If you had the baby early and you're a public figure like this and everything else has been so public, you might as well get ahead of the story like Ken is saying. Otherwise, people are going to think you are hiding something if you announce way later, especially if you change the date on them and you don't tell them the date or anything. Then they're going to make a lot more conspiracy. I think Ken was right to just get ahead of it and just say, we know she came early, but
yeah. And I think on the other side of the coin, I'm sure Gypsy probably feels like people are going to talk anyways. People are going to make up conspiracy theories anyways. And so why not just enjoy our peace as long as possible? They needed to own their own information in the long run.
I think so too, because you can just turn your phone off for 2 weeks and get peace, or take off your social media as well.
Gypsy knows she can't help herself.
Yes, but either way, people saw you in a parking lot, so you know that there's something going to leak, either a rumor or something or a photo. So you're not really going to be in 2 weeks of peace regardless. People are going to be talking, and then you're going to want to combat that online. It's going to be a whole mess because, like you just said, Gypsy can't control herself on her phone.
And when you have a show like this and a public following like this, you don't really get peace. And some people might even look at this as some karma for her terrible decisions. I don't know.
And that's the face she's making. I don't know.
I just love the face. This is the face of like, well, I'm effed.
Well,
and then she's all in a hissy. And this is why you want people to know about it. Because Ken's mom just gets right to, well, you guys better prepare yourselves for all this talk about the dates and how early the baby is and blah, blah, blah.
Thank goodness someone said that.
I know. Thank goodness it wasn't Ken that said it too, because Gypsy would have jumped out of her damn pants.
She
was already looking at
tired.
him.
She looks tired and annoyed.
Tired and annoyed, just like Nova when she had her baby.
Teen mom reference there.
Ken says this is going to be kind of a lifelong thing. People are always going to, like I just said a minute ago, people are always going to have theories and opinions and whatever, especially when your life is in the public. He anticipates that even 10 years down the road, people might be calling that baby an Anderson.
I mean, if you leave it up to Ryan, the baby's always going to be an Anderson. If she looks like Dee Dee, Ryan looks like Dee Dee, then people going to think it's an Anderson. Yep. You really can't win.
I know. It's interesting. Just like we're going to see later when we see Ryan, he's going to be like, check features. So they kind of go on and on in the beginning of Aurora's life about when are we going to talk to people. I think they ended up releasing the information on New Year's Eve, right?
Ken released it January 1st on his Instagram.
New Year's Day. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, it was only a couple of days, but Ken was acting like he couldn't tell his friends and he wasn't responding to people and he was ignoring his friends that were asking. And Gypsy acts like it's so obvious. Like, you can tell your friends. And he's like, I don't know. He's just trying so hard. And she says she didn't want anyone in the media to be told about it. But I think he's thinking 2 steps ahead of like, if a lot of people know, then like the media is
going to get over there.
Yeah. And what I thought was also really weird was he said he wanted to tell his friends. She says, you can tell your friends.
So did Christy. Like Christy knew what was going on. Like,
I know. She just has Gypsy's little parrot in the back. She just repeats everything that Gypsy says.
Always.
But then he's told he can tell his friends. And then he's like, well, I want to post an Instagram story. That's not your friend. That's the public.
I think he was testing, He's like, okay, can I tell my friends? Okay, now can I also just tell the public?
Tell the public. You're right. He was kind of just pushing it all the way, I won't call CNN, but I'll tell the public.
With baby steps. Then Rod comes in like a ball of sunshine, ready to love on Aurora. He makes a few good points that I felt a little bad for him. I mean, obviously he did this to himself in a sense as well, but he was also very, very young. Let's remember when Gypsy was born. Mm-hmm. But he says like he can't help but have the feeling when he holds Aurora that when Gypsy watches him do that she's thinking, where was he for me? And that's gotta sting. I hope that he talks to Gypsy about this, about their past, because I think it's important. I don't feel like he should feel like that all the time. It's got to be hard. And she might not even be thinking that. She might just be happy he's here now. Who knows? Or she might be thinking that. But I think that they could definitely prosper from a good therapy session just talking about their past.
Yeah. I mean, they might not even need to go to a therapist. They just could sit down on that little outside bonfire porch thing they got going on and have a good.
No, maybe Gypsy's not comfortable because for some reason it's never come up. So maybe
she does have kind of an emotional wall up with her dad. And I think a lot of that has to do, like, I know Christy didn't obviously raise her either, but Christy is kind of maternal and she's used to a maternal figure more so. And with Rod, he is not a maternal person and he did not raise her. So I think she just doesn't feel that vulnerability that people feel with their parents when they're raised by them. Yeah. So I think that has really carried on into adulthood. I think she just protects herself and protects her relationship with her dad by not sharing a lot of how she feels. Yeah, I don't think that that's the right way to go about it. So yeah, if that's the case, I think a therapist would help. But you also have to have like self-awareness enough in that moment to know that a therapist would help too. So
true. I mean, a conversation at all would be great between them about this. Yeah, because I feel like whenever this kind of thing comes up, it's like Rod bringing it up to us in a confessional that he's feeling these things, and it's a lot of regret from Rod. Yeah. He's still carrying that. Even if Gypsy's fine, I feel like even for Rod, obviously by hearing that statement, he is still struggling with his own actions himself, and maybe he needs to sit down with Gypsy and talk to her, and probably his first child too, or whatever that other kid is. But
all them kids, Rod, that you left when you were 20, okay?
Yeah. He says he's gonna have his second chance with Aurora, but then again, he's on a boat half the time. But he'll be here as he can as a granddad.
Yeah, this is a whole lot more than it seems like he's been, really involved. So the public gets the news.
Yes, and everybody's up in arms. This lady's like, she was married not to this man.
I would probably be saying that too if I was on TikTok doing the whole pointy whinies.
Yeah. Everybody was like freaking out. They really thought that this could be it. It could be Ryan's baby. Baby could be an Anderson. And then we go over to Ryan Anderson, who is pondering it himself.
He is being filmed in such a motion picture-y type of, I mean, it just looks like a movie here. Just the dramas in his face and the light
and the detail in his
shadows face. And it was like
you could see the sweat glisten on the side of his face.
And nervous and troubled.
And that's when I kind of realized that Ryan has this goatee. I don't know why I've never noticed this really before. Y'all are going to come for me for this, but I think that he got this goatee because everybody was comparing him to Dee Dee. So Dee Dee couldn't grow a goatee, I bet you.
I bet you she can.
So it makes him look a little less like her.
A little bit, yeah. Actually, it's working for him.
I like it. As usual, I'm here for Ryan.
I just love to see this man, and the way that they just made him look like a star like this. I mean, I could just marvel all day. I swear to you. But anyways,
Gypsy Rose might be the title, but the real star of the show is Ryan Anderson.
It's so true, and soon it will be Aurora Anderson, but we'll get there in the future. He gives us not just, a dramatic look, but also a dramatic story about how he learned that Gypsy had given birth, that he was awoken by a phone call from Rod, and he just said, Rod don't call me, so I just knew something was up. He said he knew Gypsy was getting close. He could feel it in his bones, and so he said, I ain't going over there.
It's a 3.5-hour drive there and then back. Yeah, I don't blame him for not making that drive at all. I honestly would have probably done the same thing.
No, I could not even imagine asking someone to do that.
Like we said in our last episode, if there was a notary or some other way to do it through a lawyer or something,
I think we would have.
Yeah, I think that would have been done. Or even if it was closer, like maybe 30 minutes away, he probably would have maybe even done that. Although I don't believe that almost either, just because of the questions later about, well, if we finish this, then it'll be done. Are you scared about that? And he's like, oh yeah, I've thought about that. I've thought about everything.
Mm-hmm. It's weird. It's like, I think there's some way that he could be manipulating the situation to stretch it out longer. And then he also suspects that Gypsy could be kind of manipulating the situation by, trying to sort of reel him in to get these things signed. So they both clearly don't trust each other, and they have no reason to trust each other.
She did send Rod to even call him, which, I mean, good move. I guess that's a power move, because if anybody he might listen to other than Gypsy might be Rod, because that was the only one that was nice to him. But I mean, I don't know what Rod could have said to him on the phone to get him over there. I think that would have been awkward as hell. I would not have answered that either. Been like, how about you go see your grandbaby? This is between me and Gypsy. Actually, and then we find out that the morning of, Gypsy was texting this man, telling him about the baby, the birth, the name. I'm sure she put in Anderson. Then she sent photos.
This is Aurora Anderson.
And then he said, well, obviously she must have done this behind Ken's back, which kind of, I get that they're in this weird paternity thing, and she was probably trying to get him to the hospital. It probably would have told you ahead of time if he was coming to the hospital. At this point, if it's the day of and he's not told you he's coming to the hospital, what's the point?
Sharing with him, the details of your baby and photos is not going to get him to want to come to the hospital more. It was completely unnecessary, and it was either behind Ken's back, or I'm sure he was upset about it.
It's just, why do it the day of? She could have texted him days after. That day should have been about Ken and about Aurora.
Should have been.
But
I also think that, as soon as this baby came, maybe had a lot of guilt. It was kind of a real reality at that point that she has this baby. And I know she's been going back and forth a little bit and, feeling like she misses her husband. I'm not trying to be in her brain or anything, but I am a little bit.
I just think she's so messy. She likes to have this guy in her back pocket while trudging forward with Ken.
Yep.
It's just so strange. Leave the man alone. Go through the lawyers if you guys need a contact at this point. Why do you want to be friends? I have so many weird questions that don't make any sense to me.
Bad. It's all bad. Yeah. When she got out of prison, I was like, I just want to see what she does. Lady, you are wild.
We know you're trying to live 5 lifetimes in a year, but
she's a fascinating creature, let me tell you.
She should be studied.
Brian wants to make sure 100% that it's not his. We don't yet know how he's going to figure that out, but spoiler alert, he going to meet up with Chip.
You know what? I don't blame him, though, for wanting to be 100% sure. I mean, the baby came early. She is bigger. She does have a full head of hair. Like he is saying, it does make him wonder, and it made the world wonder. So I don't blame Ryan for wanting to rule himself out with a paternity test just because Ken got one. He don't really trust Gypsy right now, and the world don't really trust Gypsy right now. When you got those people in your ear on top of that.
I could see for sure wanting to have your own 100%
clarity. Yeah.
That totally makes sense. I think he probably should have done it before Aurora was born, but it's time and whatever.
I don't think he was offered to do it before that. I think Ken and Gypsy just went off and did it. I think at that time she had him blocked and she wasn't trying to coordinate that with him.
Brian blocked. She would have texted him, I miss you, blah, 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 blah.
That's just, I'm just going off the story at the time. Y'all know just as much as I do that we don't truly know.
He said she was texting him.
She wasn't at that time. She had him blocked. Remember, they were going on those dates, her and Ken, and she's like, oh, yeah, he's blocked now. He texted me. I didn't respond. This is like her little phase where she wasn't responding and pretending, but either way. So everybody on TikTok has a opinion about Gypsy and her ability to be a mother. I think it's kind of weird to question anybody's ability to be a mother other than maybe Casey Anthony at this point, because we just don't know. Unless anything's been proven, we don't know. So this baby is freshly born. Let's just give her a few weeks to make some bad decisions. Because trust me, I don't know about the baby, but for herself, she'll definitely make some bad decisions.
Yeah, we all do. We all make bad parenting.
We all do. We're all human, and even mothers make mistakes. I don't know. I don't love Gypsy becoming a mom so quick after all this stuff that she just went through, and after the prison, and after the unaliving her own mother and stuff like that. But as we see in this episode, she is truly having to deal with that. This is exactly what you people want. This woman is miserable over her own actions, and that's all we can really ask for in this world. I mean, we're not God. We don't have the ability to predict where Gypsy should go, what should be done with her. It's not really my place. I don't know her like that. So,
right. And she has served an amount of time. I know some people might think that's too much. Some people might think that's way too little, but she has.
I can get on board with that. But what is, right?
Right. And honestly, I think what you're saying about the emotions she's feeling right now, the fact that she has to really internally and emotionally face what she's done and consider that even her own child might have feelings about, will have feelings about that, and might not want a relationship with her because of that, or have an opinion about that. And I think that is the most important thing when it comes to committing any kind of wrongdoing, no matter how egregious, is that you sit within yourself and you reflect on how that affects other people, and then you do better. I don't think any amount of time sitting and rotting behind a cell, unless you're doing that reflecting there, is like, you could be in there for an hour and think those things, or a lifetime and think those things. There are some people that should not be part of society. I get it, whatever.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. I'm not saying Gypsy deserves to be out right now. I'm just saying that she's definitely going to be torturing herself for the rest of her life, and she should. She should, but
yes, that is the consequence of those experiences in life, is that you're going to think of those things for the rest of your life.
And everyone's so worried about her being a mom to Aurora and stuff when she's got a whole other parent. We got Ken here. So even if Gypsy fails miserably, hopefully Ken will step up and be the parent she needs. She's in a better situation than Gypsy was.
She has her dad, she has Christy, she has Mia, she has Ken's dad, she has Ken's mom. I think Ken has siblings that don't live nearby but are close with him emotionally. Like, baby has a
network. Yeah. And it's more than Gypsy had when she was young, because Gypsy's mom isolated her. Regardless of what you believe, she took her somewhere away from her family and stuff. So it was just Gypsy and her mom for a long time. Just like you were saying with the whole Christy dynamic, I think they're really weirdly dependent like that, because that's what Gypsy's used to. Yeah. And but we see Ken go back to work for the first time in days, and Gypsy's going to be home alone with the baby. And all this time, she just struggles with her emotions about baby. She's trying to put on a show for us, really. She wants to prove to us that she's just a great mom. She doesn't want to do anything wrong because she's afraid of us, the internet, whatever, coming for her. And that's kind of sad in a way, because I think when anybody becomes a parent for the first time, it's such a scary thing. You don't know what you're doing all the way. You can have all the training books, whatever in the world, but when you're actually there with your baby, it's scary. You don't know what every cry means. And to do it also on camera, when you know the slightest move wrong, someone's going to have it on TikTok. You're going to get CPS called on you, probably your parole officer, all the people.
So, there was a time where she was wondering if she was going to have her baby in prison, because she was getting parole called on her so much. So yeah, I can only imagine, like you said, like normal stress that comes with being a new parent, especially those first 2 weeks. And then to add on top of that, the fear of the public.
Yeah,
it's got to be a lot. So she talks about how she's obviously trying really hard, but the postpartum is kind of hitting her, and she's feeling a lot like she can't do it, and she's breaking down pretty often and crying all day.
Postpartum's a real deal. I don't think our bodies go back to normal for over a year after you have a baby. So it's a real thing.
And any type of mental health symptom within 6 months of giving birth, even if it's at 5.5 months or 5 weeks and whatever, is postpartum. So it doesn't mean it just happens directly after you give birth. It can happen anytime within that first 6 months. She's definitely dealing with it right after, and I think a lot of that is probably triggered by her past as well. I hear a lot about like this deep sense of love that you feel, right, when you have your child, and this euphoria and connection, and I think a lot of that is kind of naturally tainted by this fear that she also has, that she loves this baby so much and is going to pour her life into it, and one day when she finds out what happened, she may be like, see you later, you're wild.
Well, I think if Gypsy were to truly pour all this love and support and attention, I don't think Aurora would truly hate her at the end of the day. Yeah, she might have an opinion on it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she might question things. She'll have questions, but I
Yeah.
think if Gypsy uses this time wisely, she could help that outcome for herself.
Oh,
I don't
totally.
think
I think as long as Gypsy is there for her and is a loving parent, Aurora will form opinions, of
and
course,
if no
isn't going to think
Mhm.
that she's a monster, of course. I think, but I think Gypsy's also going through human emotions too that are important for her to feel, but I don't think they have anything to do with how Aurora is actually going to feel. I think she just needs to deal with this.
As long as none of Aurora's other grandmothers go missing, I think she might at least be able to see. The thing is, forgive. It's like Aurora wasn't really there, so
Right.
it's
Aurora
kind
doesn't
of
know that person. I don't know. My parents have never committed any serious crimes like that, but I think there's context. I know a lot of people like to look at the world in black and white, but when your parent has done something, I think you probably try your best to understand that. They're still your parent at the end of the day.
I know there are kids of serial killers who have
Yep.
disowned them and stuff like that, but a
Yep.
lot of the times in those cases, the killings are happening while the child is alive and around, and they
Hmm.
just didn't know and stuff like that. So they're dealing with, I
Oh,
should have
yes.
known, and I, yeah.
Yeah.
And with Aurora, the thing for her is her mom's situation is already resolved semi. I mean, I know it's not totally resolved to a lot of people, and honestly, she could have been in prison longer, but it's mostly resolved by the time she comes into the world. So by the time she even knows about this, the crime would have happened like 30 years ago. So I assume that Gypsy's also going to tell her story. And who knows? Because maybe Aurora doesn't get the actual full story from Gypsy. She gets Gypsy's version and then she gets digging online. I mean, who's to know? But we won't know for the next 15
Mhm.
or so years. Even though it's something to think about and wonder about, she still has a lot of time to prepare for that.
Yeah.
But she's in her postpartum. She has her breakdown. The producers even go on break. She's like, "We got to on break. I had about the breakdown."
She was trying to smile and kind of keep it chipper at first, and then yeah, she just really broke down. Then the doula comes over to visit, and she tells the doula that she's just basically been crying, for days and days and days. And this is actually when it hit me, and maybe other people have been thinking this and just I haven't, but she talks about SIDS and brings up all these things that she's looking up, and if this happens, the baby could die. This happens, the baby could die. It's like,
Mhm.
SIDS is something that can happen. And yes, there's lots to prevent it, and you should be informed and all of that, but it is something that can happen. And I just couldn't imagine the fear that she must be fearing
On
because
top
she
of
already has this history. And then if something were to actually happen, oh my God,
that's what
I
I was
would be
thinking.
stressed.
People gonna think you took care of your baby if and
I
yeah.
know, especially in like it came early, and oh my God, yeah, I would be stressed.
They'd probably be wondering, was the baby actually an Anderson?
That's what I'm saying.
So far, so good. Aurora is still alive as of May 2025. So
This baby's
we
okay. She's gonna be all right.
we did want the best for the baby. I think Aurora, of anybody in this show, is the innocent one. She is the one that we want to succeed the most.
Hmm.
She didn't ask to be here in the bayou with these people.
She sure did not, but this is her family now, and that's what it is. Gypsy is trying to get some advice about the nighttime situation. She said she does okay during the daytime when they have a routine, but at night she starts to get anxious about what will come in the night. And
Ken's
then,
not there most of the time, I'm sure, because he's
yeah,
bartending.
yeah, he's probably not getting home until like 4 o'clock in the morning, to be honest.
Mhm.
He's not just bartending, but he's bartending in New Orleans. So
Yeah.
it's got to be pretty brutal at nighttime. I'm sure she's doing a lot of the nighttime stuff on her own, and it seems like she is sort of struggling with that whole
Yep.
situation.
And we start getting more of a disconnect between Gypsy and Ken, it seems. Gypsy tells us a lot in her voiceovers how she's not feeling like her needs are getting met. And she talks to Ken, but she doesn't actually tell him any of that when he asks her what's wrong with her. But didn't they just go to therapy to say that they need to talk about these things in the beginning of the
Yeah,
season?
I almost wonder if they never went back because they did come in right away. Like, this is the stuff that we need to work on. And they talked about these exact examples, just kind of not expressing exactly what they mean and being passive in their
Mhm.
communication. I mean, Ken does try twice pretty directly to check in and ask how she's doing and looks at her kind of weird and is like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah." But I will say it almost seems to me like Ken maybe is not kind with her emotions. Like, he might be there and be supportive, say he wants to hear it, but the face that he gave her when he was like, "Are you okay?" It just looked so I could care less. I'm exhausted. I'm burnt out with you. Please say that you're okay because if you say anything else, I'm going to walk away. His face was just like that. And then when
Yeah.
she said, yeah, okay, he's like, okay. And it was like he was done, ready to move on. Barely even wanted to ask that question again. Just only did it out of obligation. I don't know. Maybe he's not the best place for her emotions to land. Now, should she be going and talking to her ex-husband, who also shares the same last name as her child?
And her.
No.
Well, she does mention to Ken that she feels like she's the only one doing anything, but then he's like, well, I'm helping. And she's like, oh, well, I'm not just talking about, she still swerves it. Girl, if you're feeling like you're not getting the help, well, just tell the man. He's right here in front of you. I don't care if he wants to talk about it or not.
Right. No, I completely agree.
It's only going to get worse from here. You're just going to start talking to Ryan because he at one point was my best friend. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm over her getting a hold of Ryan. It's so annoying to me. And I couldn't imagine being Ryan, but I just think it's so manipulative to keep this man in your back pocket, whether it's to get him to do a paternity test or whatever your motives are. I just think that this is wrong. You're divorced now. Yeah. Figure out the paternity stuff through your lawyers and call it a day.
Honestly, I feel the same exact way. And the fact that she's doing these voiceovers, and maybe there's a progression in time or something that we don't know about, but the fact that she's doing this voiceovers, that she is aware that she's self-isolating, that she's keeping things from Ken, and that she's going somewhere else to seek that out. She knows that that's a common pattern for her, and she's not doing nothing about it that I can see. I'm done with it too. It's very annoying. Stop with the back and forth. Ryan would take anything from you at this point. You really think he's going to stop this kind of communication? He's not. He just wants to reel you and your little baby Anderson right back into his house so he can turn his little neon light right back on.
It's really frustrating watching her navigate this with Ryan. She's doing it the worst way possible.
Looks like it's only about to get effing worse. Seems like as soon as she wasn't pregnant anymore, she just lost all ability to navigate this in any kind of fashion.
I don't get why Ryan was throwing all that crap out the damn window and mad about being the public. I mean, if you're getting all these secret texts on the side, I'd be pissed too. You're getting a birth announcement before the public. Yeah. That's why that man threw a fit. And that's why she's apologizing and doing all this weird crap online right now. Now she's got to backtrack and apologize for things. I'm sure she's got to make amends at home with Ken, because if I was Ken, I'd be pissed.
Yeah. And this is the only way that Gypsy directly communicates. You can pretty much tell the kind of mood that Gypsy is in by this here whiteboard.
And she puts an explanation point there, like she's pissed that it needs to go out. And Ken's in the room.
Yes.
Turn to the man and say the trash.
Well, I think because she was leaving, so I think it was a note for a couple days from now for him. But earlier on, this was 50% Gypsy, 50% Ken, 100% Aurora. We're a team. And now it's like, take out the trash.
Things tend to shift once the baby's really home.
I know. And the faces that Gypsy starts giving this man, it's like she is shuddering when she's around him. And I'm sorry, that is just not fair. It's not fair to Ken. And
what
it's
has
not
he
fair
done
to Ryan.
other than maybe not been the most like emotionally, maybe? I don't know. I just feel like Ken's still got to be there going through the motions too. He might be having his own male postpartum thing going on. You don't know. You're not even openly communicating with him. It's just frustrating to watch her have like a decent partner. You know how many guys don't even come back home with you? You know how many women do it completely on their own actually? She's not doing it on her own actually. She's staying in his house. She doesn't have to pay for, like, I'm sure she's helping pay some bills with her lifetime money, but if she was a normal person getting out of jail and doing this on her own, actually, her life would be much different. She wouldn't be buying $1,900 damn paternity tests and $2,000 cribs and staying with her baby. She'd have to work.
Ryan's paternity test, I'll pay for it and I'll buy lunch too. We can be friends.
Girl, get a job and a hobby then, and a nanny or something. You're messing your life up running in circles in your mind all day, texting. Yeah. I just think this woman needs something else to focus on other than her own life.
She does. She really does. You're right.
There's got to be a hobby out there for you, Gypsy. Learn to sew.
She's messing it all up.
Learn a hobby. Learn a craft. Go fishing with your dad for a few months. This is just crazy. But then we get the scene with Ryan and his friend. They're out at a bar talking about Gypsy. The friend has some theories as well about Gypsy. He thinks that there's still some feelings there because obviously she's still texting Ryan. This scene was funny to me. This friend is trying real hard to let Ryan know this is not the way. You don't want to go this route. You just want to block her.
To me were baffling. He was acting as if this was news to him, like what his friends were saying. He goes, "Oh, Gypsy's just keeping you in her back pocket and you can't let her do that." He's like, "Well, why not?" He's like, "Because she's going to do it again." He goes, "Oh, you think so?" I'm like, "Bud, get it together. Come, I know you're heartbroken. I know you're in denial, but the denial is heavy." When he said she had a baby, that's all the closure that you need. It's like kind of like saying to hell with you, right? Good call. Yeah, it's good call. Good call.
This is why Ryan is a star.
He's like a student learning from this man.
Honestly, Ryan and Gypsy are one and the same. Whatever world they want to live in is what world they're living in. They don't care.
And that's why I get a little bit frustrated sometimes that everyone is so Team Ryan. I mean, I think Ryan is a great guy, but Ryan is endlessly, insufferably in love with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. He has drinking the Gypsy Kool-Aid. I mean, you guys are all so mad at Gypsy, and the only reason most of y'all are Team Ryan is because he ain't with her no more, and he gets all heartbroken on live. But this man is more in love with Gypsy than Ken is.
Oh, for sure.
He has no shame about it. I mean, he is, I love her. I still think she's beautiful. I'll talk to her anytime. Please, you are a good guy, and you do not deserve to be going through it like this.
He is more in love with Gypsy than Gypsy's in love with Gypsy.
He must be the most in love with Gypsy ever in the world.
Even more than Dee Dee probably was.
Honestly.
Gypsy talks to Christy about possibly meeting up with Ryan. I guess Rod's there too.
I mean, she hatches this weird plan that apparently she talked on the phone with Ryan about, well, we can all meet up and maybe go to lunch and then go take this DNA test together, like we're some sort of weird, strange family or something. Obviously, Rod, the only one with any sense in this whole house, is looking like, what the hell? It's not a good idea.
Didn't we get a paternity test?
What does the baby need to be there for? Oh my God, Gypsy. This is the part where I'm like, you're starting to show some bad parenting decisions. You cannot be, like Ken says later on in the preview, dragging your child through the mud like this. And this is the mud. This is the muck that you have created, that as a parent, you are responsible for shielding your child from the best that you can. And this, my lady, is not what you do. I don't care if the baby's an Anderson. She should not be meeting that man, and not for lunch.
As Beyonce says, I'm a be a protector. Be a protector. Don't be taking this girl to lunch with this man. We're gonna have him do. Oh, will you hold? You want to hold the baby? I know you upset about Aurora maybe finding out about what you did to your mom, but also think about what if Aurora finds out that while she was an Anderson, you had her go meet this man that wasn't even her father. That would also be a little bit uncomfortable.
Gypsy should be more scared about everything that's being filmed right now, because everything that's being filmed right now puts her dad, whether it's Ken or Ryan, but we all know it's Ken, puts her dad in such a poor light because of what Gypsy is doing to him right now. She is playing Ken out just as much as she's playing Ryan out right now, and it's sad. And who knows what's going to happen between Gypsy and Ken, truly. I mean, who knows if they will ever last. And if Aurora looks back at this stuff and they're not together, this is what you should be worried about, Gypsy, is the way that you are treating your daughter's father and the way that you look right now as a mother, bumbling around with your ex-husband that you cheated on. Like, come on. No.
Yeah, I'm not as worried about what way you feed your baby or how you're holding her or whatever as I am with you bringing her to go meet this man.
When I heard her sit down and say that, I'm like, you and Aurora.
Why she gotta go?
Enough. You're gonna go have lunch with this. We were talking about a DNA test, Gypsy. They don't serve lunch at the lab.
You might get a cookie.
If you pass out again, you might get a cookie and some orange juice. That's it.
Yeah.
You need to go to lunch. You don't need to start establishing a friendship.
But I like how Chrissy's just backing her up randomly like a rapper's hype man in the back. Like, oh yeah.
I can respect that.
Even though she can't respect Ryan, why would she respect anything to whatever? Rod's the only one with any sense on that damn couch out there. And Gypsy's like, really?
And as soon as
that?
Yeah, and as soon as Rod opens his mouth and he's like, hey, this is a terrible idea, then Chrissy's like, oh, yes, you don't want the trucker coming. I don't know what the trucker is, but it sounds like some kind of bayou term.
It's some kind of bayou witchcraft thing.
I think it's a bayou term. Yeah, someone's going to be coming for Gypsy, though, if she keeps acting so.
Isn't this thing already coming for her for offing her mom, though? Like,
probably. You think it's a word for karma, maybe?
Who the hell knows? We go back over to Ryan, and he is showing us the photos that he got from Gypsy. He got quite a few baby photos, and he also got a selfie from Gypsy. And I'm like, Jeb, what are you doing, girl? Does Ken never go through your phone?
I don't know. I love how Ryan calls them glamour shots. It just tickles me. Truly tickles my fancy.
They are glamour shots. They're not just regular selfies. She's got her titties in there, got the hair he likes.
Well, that's why she's been excited to send some selfies.
Her Luke Combs. Do you really think he sounds like Luke Combs?
Absolutely not.
Look
at his face right here.
He loves looking at these photos. They're about to go on the fridge.
Possible.
And you know Ryan loves the fact that Gypsy's doing all this behind Ken's back.
Oh, that's his favorite part about all of it, is that
Yeah.
she's texting me, probably behind Ken's back. He's mentioned that several times. Now
Yeah.
he's over here checking features several weeks in. Not only has Gypsy sent him the birth picture, she sent him a picture like a week in, now a couple of weeks in, and he's all like, this baby might be truly an Anderson.
You can tell that they're talking because Gypsy had that whole idea to go meet up with him, and I don't think she would have even offered that again had they
He
not been
told his
talking.
friend at the bar, I have been texting Gypsy. Not Gypsy and I had a conversation. He said, did I tell you I've been texting Gypsy? They're talking.
Which makes me wonder where Ken is in all of this. Does he know? Does he not know? I'm assuming he doesn't. And wow, how messy. Gypsy, you just did this to Ryan last year. I think that's again.
And again, this is the stuff that she should be worried about happening. And this is the mess that Gypsy has just messed, because Ryan wouldn't be saying these things on camera if Ryan wasn't receiving photos from Gypsy of this baby. And I'm sorry, but if I were Aurora and their relationship don't work out and I see this kind of stuff happening, no, this is gross. This baby must be, I know we make fun of it and joke about that baby's an Anderson and all that stuff, but to actually have the man himself, the Mr. Anderson, be over here saying must be an Anderson
because they're cuddling.
I know.
She must be an Anderson because she likes to snuggle and I loves to snuggle. And we know Ken don't like to snuggle, but like I would be so pissed if I was Ken watching this right now.
Oh,
Imagine Ken on Monday night. How pissed I would have been seeing this.
Yeah.
He had every right to say what he says at the end of the episode to Gypsy and that preview. Although I have thoughts on that too.
So we get to the next time, but I did have to take a couple pictures of the next time just because we get so much good stuff. So the baby might stay an Anderson forever. And Gypsy
Is that even possible if the baby's not an Anderson? I don't think so.
He was talking to his lawyer, and his lawyer said the two options that they have is to go to a formal hearing or to do what they've been discussing, which is to acknowledge the paternity.
Even if
he does not acknowledge the paternity as Ken's, he can just say the baby's an Anderson. It don't matter to me. Gypsy and Ken would be responsible to have to go get that fixed because they're the parties that care about the problem.
Right. Eventually it would have to get fixed at some point. It wouldn't be forever, you know?
Right. According to him, it could be forever because he's not going to do anything about it. But Gypsy's never going to just let that go.
I think he also meant by maybe the baby will stay in Anderson forever if the paternity test comes back positive. So
that's what he meant here. Yes. That's why I took this other picture. When Gypsy was talking here, she said that this was an ultimatum. And then Ryan took the paternity test. We'll see this all in the next episode. But she said initially that she got an ultimatum from Ken that if she goes, that Aurora's not going. But if she goes with Aurora, that he is going to move back to Texas and file for sole custody. Which,
take her with him.
Good for you, sir.
Yes, good for you. But this paternity situation is not handled yet. So technically you'd be stealing that child from Ryan.
I file for sole custody. He didn't say I'm taking the baby. But you're right. If he took the baby, there'd be an Amber alert. It'd be an Amber alert. Aurora Anderson alert.
Honestly, like he can't actually take the baby with him because technically on the birth certificate, custody is between Gypsy and Ryan.
Right.
No, isn't that crazy?
He could never take that baby anywhere right now. I mean, not even to the damn pediatrician without Gypsy. I mean, he's not nobody. I don't know. He's getting faced with two ultimatums. She's got the ultimatum from Ken that she shows up, then he's going to move back to Texas. He's going to file for sole custody of the baby. She got the ultimatum from Ryan that if you don't meet with me, then I'm not going to take this DNA test. Eventually, he takes the DNA test, so I'm guessing that there's a meeting that happens.
Probably just between the two of them. I don't think Ryan's so hell-bent on meeting Aurora. I think he just wants to see Gypsy.
No, I don't think he would insist on it, but I think Gypsy wants to bring her.
What it sounds like is Gypsy offered that before even speaking with Ken. Is what it sounded like. Because it sounded like she offered it to Ryan and Ryan accepted, and then she told Ken, and then Ken.
Agree.
And I would be pissed.
Oh, yeah.
So Ken has every right to want to file for full custody, but get that paternity shit figured out first, Ken. Then take that baby back to Bucky's.
Definitely. So Gypsy's faced with two ultimatums. It seems like she's trying to go back and forth as to what she's going to do. I mean, we all know the obvious correct answer, but will Gypsy make that decision? Who knows? Ken said that he is willing to catch a charge over his family, so it seems like things get a little bit intense for a little bit, and Gypsy's like, everybody just calm down.
I'm glad Ken's finally pissed. This
He
man's
should
been
be.
chill the whole time. You should be pissed about this.
But I feel like with Ken getting pissed, Gypsy just gets into her glory. She just loves the drums.
She
She
does.
wants these two men to be fighting over her. She loves the attention and all of it. She's never seen Ken more emotional about her. Like, she's over here just thirsty for all the attention from anyone she can get it from. Anyways, Ryan's going to talk to his lawyer. He's going to figure out what his options are. I don't even know why Ryan's going to talk to this lawyer on camera. We know what the options are. We know he's going to go take a paternity test, and we know that it's going to be Ken's baby. So what the hell?
What the hell?
But he does say while he's on his way back from the lab, while he's waiting for the paternity, who knows? Maybe it will be my baby, and it will forever remain an Anderson.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, Ryan. Ken visits a jewelry store, and it causes Gypsy to have a tizzy on live.
Yes, she did not know that Ken went to the jewelry store and looked at rings, so she was shooketh. But obviously, their relationship wasn't in a good place. I don't know why he was doing that.
Right.
But maybe he didn't know it wasn't even in a good place. I don't know. Or maybe he was just trying to help this paternity thing by getting engaged. I have no idea. Ken, you're a dreamer. That's for sure.
He is a dreamer, and Gypsy is a schemer, and
the baby's an Anderson.
The baby is an Anderson.
For now.
Yeah. Maybe we have one more episode. Maybe we'll never stop covering Gypsy Rose. Who knows? But I think hopefully we just have one more episode for you guys. So stick around.
Commenter said only 11, so I'm hoping you guys are right. Don't steer us wrong.
I just think 11 is such an odd number, and I haven't seen anything that says season finale, but I'm just like fingers is crossed.
Yeah, I think we're all hoping.
I'm played out on the story. I need the ties to be tied up the best as possible, and I'm ready to take a break from Gyp Gyp Land. Anyways, don't forget to like the video, leave some comments, subscribe. We're really close to our subscriber goal of 1,000 subscribers. Help us get to that. We are probably going to cover some other shows here in the near future. If you're just a Gypsy watcher, we also cover Teen Mom, which is wrapping up. We're thinking about covering Jersey Shore if you're in the younger crowd. I know some of our Gypsy watchers are not as young as us, probably don't watch Jersey Shore, but I don't know, maybe check it out if you're missing us.
We also have Story of the Week coming back more regularly as well.
Yeah, you can always keep up to date with us through the Story of the Week. We try to get it out once a week, but right now it's been a Story of the Month because we have other videos coming out.
If you're truly just here for Gypsy content, every now and then when there is something good, we come on live and we talk about it. So keep a lookout for our lives. But yes, remember, reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna, and goodbye. Bye you. Touch the babies.